Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Inside Guns with your host, me, the Yankee Marshal. Today, I want to talk about straw purchases. I want to talk about what a straw purchase actually is. What do you have to do for it to constitute a straw purchase legally? Because there's been a lot of misconceptions in the media lately. And it goes both ways. There was a raid, an ATF raid on a gun shop, which I'll go more in depth into in another video, where the ATF sent 2 agents in. They had one agent fill out the paperwork, buy a gun, and then they had the other agent provide the money, and they said, straw purchase, and they used that as an excuse to raid the business. That is not a straw purchase. On the other extreme, a lot of people were like, what Kyle Rittenhouse and his friend did was not a straw purchase. I even heard some people say it was an informal trust agreement, where I don't know who made up that term, but legally there is no such thing and no such defense as an informal trust agreement when it comes to buying a gun. What they did was a straw purchase, whether you like it or not. It was the legal definition of a straw purchase. You got to remember, these laws are designed to be complicated, to be very hard to understand, and to turn ordinary everyday people into criminals when they've committed no other crime. So the fact that you don't like the way the law is written, that's not surprising. But we do have to be aware of what an actual straw purchase is if we want to avoid it or if we want to challenge it in some way. So let's talk about what a straw purchase actually is. Basically, to put it in simple English, I can't even say English properly, a straw purchase is whenever one person acts as an agent for another person to buy a gun that the other person is going to be in possession of, period. If they're going to use it, eventually own it, whatever, if you buy it with their money, that makes you an agent for them. That is a straw purchase. Now, a lot of people think, well, I can do that for my friend as long as he's not prohibited from owning a gun. That's not true. The person that you're buying the gun for does not have to be a prohibited person. If I have a neighbor who is totally legal to buy a gun, he's not prohibited in any way, he owns multiple guns, but he decides, hey, I want an AR that isn't in my name. Would you go buy it for me? And I say, sure. And he gives me the cash and I go buy it. That's a straw purchase. I'm acting for an agent, as an agent for this person because he doesn't want to be on the paperwork. Therefore, straw purchase. I'm a criminal. That's just the way it is. You can't act as an agent for another person, whether they are legal or not legal. Whether their reason is, I just don't want to be on the paperwork, or I'm a felon and I can't buy one, it's the same thing. You are acting as an agent for that person. That is a straw purchase. Now, if I decided I was going to buy my neighbor an AR just because I thought he was a swell guy or whatever, I can do that. I'm allowed to buy a gun and then gift it. But the thing here is, I'm using my own money. If I'm saying I'm buying this gun as a gift for someone, you might say, well, I can just say I'm giving it to them as a gift. If you use their money to buy it, no. If the state could ever show that that person gave you money beforehand for that gun or afterwards, like you can't buy it and then immediately sell it to them if you don't do a background check selling it to them, because that is a straw purchase. It's going to look legally like you acted as an agent for that person, someone who either couldn't or didn't want to do the paperwork to buy the gun. So if money changes hands between them and you, either before or after the purchase, it's going to be suspicious. And it is something that they could make a case for that's a straw purchase. Now, your case would be a lot stronger if you bought the gun, used it for 6 months, and then decided, I want to buy another gun, I'll sell this to you. That's going to be very hard to say that's a straw purchase. But like I say, that gray area there, that's why people get in trouble a lot, because the ATF can choose to make a big deal out of something. So you better have a good reason why that gun ended up in someone else's hands, and don't do it like immediately. And like I said, unless it's a gift. You can gift guns to people, and then that's totally legal. But if the ATF can say you use that person's money to buy it, it's not a gift. So be careful about taking money for guns, because that means you're acting as an agent, and it makes it look like you were never intending to keep the gun. It's like what Rittenhouse and them did. That was totally a straw purchase, period. It's to use another example, so let's say instead of a 17-year-old boy being the prohibited person here, if someone in California can't legally buy an AR, but they call me in Washington, they're a friend of mine, and they say, and I do have friends, believe it or not, and they say, not many, and I don't want any more, to be honest. I'm not looking to make new friends. In fact, I'm at the age where I'm hoping some of our old friends die, so I have to deal with less people. But a friend calls me from California and says, hey, I can't buy an AR. If I send you the money, will you buy me an AR? And then when I come up there, I'll have one to shoot, and I can eventually, if I move somewhere else, take possession of it. That's a straw purchase. I'm not buying that gun for me. I'm buying it for someone else to use. I'm also not buying it as a gift because I'm using their money. That's a straw purchase. He can't legally possess it right now, but he could legally possess it if he moved. Still, it's a straw purchase. Even if he could legally possess it right now. I used his money and I filled out the forms. That's a straw purchase. What Kyle Rittenhouse did with his friend, that's a straw purchase. So, straw purchases, like I said, you got to pay close attention. You can give gifts. You can also have other people buy the gun for you. Like that, what I was talking about in that gun shop. If I walked in tomorrow and said to my gun shop and said, I want to buy this gun. And the guy behind me said, hey, you're the Yankee Marshal. I'm going to pay for your gun. Totally legal. In that case, it doesn't matter whose money was used because I'm the person filling out the paperwork. I'm the one going to keep the gun. Now, if I walked out into the parking lot with him and gave him the gun, then it's a straw purchase. But if I'm the one filling out the paperwork and I'm the one keeping the gun, doesn't matter who pays for it. Anyone can pay for it. A stranger can pay for it. Your mom can pay for it. Your dad can pay for it. They can give you money to go buy a gun. They don't even have to pay for it after the fact. They can just say, hey, here's $1,000 for your birthday. Go buy yourself a gun. It's like buying a gift certificate. You can buy gift certificates to gun shops. It's the same thing, giving you cash or giving you a gift certificate. You can go as long as you're the one filling out the paperwork and you're the one taking and keeping possession of the gun. Doesn't matter who paid for it. Like I said, when it matters who pays for it is when the gun goes to someone else. Like if I buy a gun for my son and I'm like, he's not old enough to own it yet, but I'll let him use it at the range, and then when he's 18, he can have it. Totally legal. I paid for the gun. I'm his guardian. I'm allowed to do that. So nothing wrong with that whatsoever. That is not a straw purchase. Somebody in one of my comment sections says, oh, you're a hypocrite because you're calling what Kyle did a straw purchase and you've bought your kid guns. Yeah, but I didn't use my kid's money. I didn't act as an agent for my kid. I bought the gun as a family asset, which I put in my trust, which is a real trust, not a informal trust, because there is no such thing. And I do it legally. I can do it legally. I can go out tomorrow and buy a Glock for my 17-year-old. As long as I fill out the paperwork, I take possession, and I am responsible for that gun until the day he can take possession of it. And I paid for it. I'm gifting it to him. I don't have to gift it to him immediately. I can buy it as a gift for him that it's going to sit, and then when he's old enough, he can have it. It's like buying a savings bond. That's totally legal. Like I said, it becomes a straw purchase when you're acting as an agent for someone else. And when they determine whether you're acting as an agent for someone else, that often determines is based on who takes possession of the gun, who paid for the gun. Don't ever let somebody else pay for the gun that you're giving to somebody else. Unless it's a third person. That wouldn't even be illegal. Like if I said, hey, I want to give my brother a gun for Christmas, but I don't have the money, and my mother goes, oh, here's the money. You can go buy him a gun for Christmas. The third person that provided the cash is not filling out the paperwork or taking possession of the gun, so none of it matters. As long as the person taking possession didn't pay for it, as long as the person filling out the paperwork didn't take money from the person the gun ends up going to, you got nothing to worry about, not a straw purchase. Which is why what happened in that gun shop is completely not a straw purchase, and it was a complete miscarriage of justice. And like I said, we'll talk about that more in a video next week. But for right now, I just wanted to talk about what is and what isn't a straw purchase, because a lot of people seem to be very confused, and it is a risky thing for people to not understand. Because, like I said, you can get caught up in this stuff. And basically, it just comes down to don't act as an agent for another person. Don't use someone else's money to buy a gun for someone unless it's a third party that's not going to be involved in who takes possession of the firearm. Basically, if you want to give a gift for a gun, it's a gift. You don't get anything back for it. If you want to pay for somebody else's gun, go right ahead, as long as you're not taking possession of the gun. If you just follow those simple rules, you'll be safe, and the government, especially the ATF, won't be able to turn a good law-abiding citizen who's not trying to do anything wrong into a felon. All right, everybody, I went long on that, so I just want to remind everyone before we go here that we are doing Toy Guns for Tots still. So if you haven't donated yet, there's only a few more days to donate. We're only running this until the 30th. So if you haven't donated yet, please go over to tympistolproject.com. I will put a link in the upper corner of this video and donate. Remember, for every $10 you donate, you'll get one entry into a drawing we'll be doing December 2nd. And we will be giving away a Sig Sauer P320 AXG Scorpion. We will also be giving away a Kimber. We'll be giving away the R7 Mako, their new 9mm polymer gun. We'll also be giving away a third prize of a silver bullet, which could definitely come in handy if you ever find yourself on the wrong end of a werewolf attack. So go on over, donate, get registered to win one of the prizes. And like I said, make a kid very happy this year. We're doing very well over there this year. It's going to be the biggest year yet, but that doesn't mean we can't make it a little bigger still. So like I said, if you've already donated, thank you very much. No matter how much you donated, I appreciate it greatly. If you haven't donated yet, but you're going to, thanks in advance. And with that being said, I just want to say to everyone out there, I hope you enjoyed the show, and I hope you come back again Monday. Until then, I just want to remind everyone to always carry and stay safe until I see you again.